What's up everyone, welcome to Braggin Rights. This is a fun video series where we're not in a tournament, we're just playing some decks for, well, Braggin Rights. Today we're playing at Experience Point Games, a co-op store in Portland, Oregon that I highly recommend you check out if you're in the area. And without further ado, let's get into the deck list. First up, we have Peter returning to the camera with his Red-Green Goblins list. Like I mentioned in the past video, if you've had a chance to check out, this is fairly stock, although running 3 Naturalizes main is a good meta call against all the enchantment decks running around. Also, having a Goblin Sledder to change combat math is pretty cool. Sideboard, he's got 1 Tinkerer, 1 Naturalize, and 2 Tranquil Domains for just additional artifact and some enchantment hate. And overall, just a very strong list, and it's pretty obvious why this is a top tier deck. Next is one of my weirdo brews. It's been a minute since I've had a crazy brew on the channel, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to bring Black Ponza. This is a deck that relies around blowing up your opponent's lands through tons of land destruction like Stone Rains and Rancid Earth and Pillage and Dust Bowl and, well, a few others. But the win con is actually through a 4 of Magnivore. Now, people, you may be familiar with Terravore. This is its red cousin. This card cares about how many sorceries are in both graveyards and also has haste instead of trample. This list also runs a Burning Wish sideboard package to go find even more sorceries. Yes, Burning Wish technically exiles itself from the graveyard, so it doesn't really count towards Magnivore, but being able to find one-ofs like Meltdown, Earthquake, say even Anarchy is really fun. You'll also notice in the sideboard there's 2 Blood Moons for even more land disruption, some Engineered Plagues because of course, and just a few other fun pieces. All right, without further ado, let's get into the games. And away we go. Peter's on the left, I am on the right. And as we are resolving our mulligans here, I just want to do one more quick shout out to Experience Point. Experience Point is the only employee-owned co-op game store in Portland, and maybe even the only one in Oregon. Maybe even the only one in the US, but that might be a little too big to claim. Anyways, great group of people, great store. Highly recommend if you're ever in the area to check it out. It looks like both of us are going to be mulliganing here, looking for better 6s. We already know that Peter is really looking for that lackey start. He had it every single game in the last video we featured, which was versus White-Black Control. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend checking it out. I also highly recommend subscribing to the channel so you don't miss videos like that. That was a great series and had a lot of good back and forth. All right, let's see if we can get a better 6 here. Both players, obviously. Now, at this point, I do want to mention I do know what Peter is on. This is the second game we played. He only brought 1 deck today for these recorded games, and I brought 2. So we do have a little bit of advantage here. I have to imagine I am going to be keeping something that has to do with removal for a lackey. And yeah, all right, looks like both players keeping a 6, and we didn't decide who goes first yet, so the old odd even. Looks like I'll be on the play. And Duress, you. Look at that nicely stamped Duress from the Duress crew, and it totally whiffs. Duress, again, is not a good card against goblins, unless you really want to try and hit their naturalizes, which this deck does not care about. All right, turn 1 Goblin Lackey. We're 4 for 4 in games on camera. Do I have a response to it? I do. Let's play an Innocent Blood. Both players sacrifice a creature. It is a sorcery. It is also very good in a deck that only has 5 creatures. I may not have mentioned it actually in the deck tech. The 5th creature is Anarchist, which lets me bring back a sorcery from my graveyard. It's not a fantastic card, it's just a funny card, and it is technically a threat, I guess. All right, Urborg Volcano, I believe. It's the tapped red black land. Tap for 2. Take a point. And let's go Chainer's Edict. Another sacrifice effect. As long as we can keep Peter down to 1 creature on the board at a time, those edicts will hit exactly what we want. And Peter, a little light on lands here, is going to pass the turn. Alright, tapping 3. And there's a pillage. Being land light against this deck is not something you want to see happen. Alright, there's a Mog Fanatic. Say go.
Legitimate threat.
And there's... Yep. Gonna sack the Mog Fanatic so he doesn't have to sack anything. Ping me for 1. There's no land. Say go. Not having a 2-drop. What can we do? There's a Burning Wish. What am I wishing for? I could grab more land destruction. Alright, we're just gonna go for Cabal Therapy. I think hitting both of the War Chiefs, getting a 2 for 1 is pretty great. And there's 2 Goblin Matrons. Or sorry, not War Chiefs, Ringleaders. Okay, sacking. Gonna grab a Mountain and gets to play out one of those Matrons. What are we grabbing? Alright. Grabbing a War Chief. Or War Leader. I mix those names up all the time. You know what it does. Makes goblins cheaper. Haste. All that good stuff. I think I just played a land and passed. Not doing a lot. This deck definitely is slow. If I'm not finding a lot of land disruption or land destruction, I do have board wipes to help keep things under control, but I don't think it's worth playing it now. Now it might be. Right. Taking 3.
We got it. We got there.
I can do math, I swear.
I'm so used to just using an app. Right. Using the dice is actually this weird, like, what am I doing?
And did I find anything good? Yep, there's a Pyroclasm. Newly printed into standard for the first time since like M11. Alright, and we're also going to Burning Wish. What are we grabbing with the Burning Wish?
CJ Commander is toughness of 3?
Pardon?
CJ Commander is toughness of 3 or 2? 2. 2. Okay.
Pyroclasm particularly good against CJ.
Okay. This is funny, but it's not. Whatever, we're on camera. This is...
Ooh, interesting choice. That is Teutonic Break. X and double red. Each player sacrifices X lands. Now, ideally, I'd want to be playing this when Peter is already down on lands, or I've been blowing up enough to make a difference. Right now, 4v4 is not great. However, I do know he has a Siege Gang Commander, so trying to keep him off of that many lands is probably a good call.
So even if it destroys lands, so I should try and lean into things that don't need as many lands, but at the same time...
And let's go for another Goblin War Chief.
And running 24 minutes.
It's pretty good for goblins.
Yeah, I feel you really need, because you want to hit your land drops.
Right. For sure. Well, the fact that you're running Script Prospector too.
Yeah.
That's not usually, at least I haven't seen
Not a
it.
one is pretty common.
Okay.
I'm currently running 2.
One makes sense for the matron.
Yeah. With the matron, it also has fun interactions with.
Tapping 1, and do we have a 1-drop here? Mog Fanatic, definitely not as scary as a Lackey. But still a clock. I am at 13. This Goblin deck can definitely kill quickly
Not with 2 creatures on board.
if a pile driver appears.
That's Stone Rain.
Alright, Stone Rain here.
I guess just one of the mountains.
I think I...
Sense to me.
Interestingly, okay, I don't take the green source. I mean, there's not really a reason to get rid of the green. Yeah. Well, he hits the land anyways. Peter, I think now thankful for getting as many lands as he has, as opposed to the last televised match we had. Game 3 was a little bit of a flood. Spoiler alert. But here it's working out quite well for him. He's able to drop down his threats, gets the war chief, and now it's presenting a... Well, I guess I'm at 9. Almost a 2-turn clock. No, a 2-turn clock, actually, because he can sack the Mog Fanatic at the end of damage in turn 2 to deal the 9th point. This is problematic. I only have 2 Pyroclasms in the main board. And I have an Earthquake in the side. Oh! Alright, well there's the second Pyroclasm. So now I'm fully out of threats. And... there's a Slitter.
My current test card.
Okay, so I have a Tectonic Break in hand and 1 other card. At this point, I almost think I should... Yeah, okay. We're going to break things down. How many lands am I sacrificing? 3? Did I say 3? Looks like it. Yikes. Alright. 3. A little risky. He does have a creature on the board. At that point, I almost wonder if I should have gone 4. That's a Terminate and a Duress. Opting to not Duress. Do I Terminate here? Looks like I am. Okay. Terminate is the only instant that I am running. I think I'm running 3 copies, maybe 4. And I drew another Duress, which doesn't do anything. So I have a Duress in hand. I'm gonna Gem Palm Incinerate here just to draw a card. Hits a land drop. Gonna crack, which probably means he's got something to play. Nope, just gonna pass. Okay. Land, go. Land, go. And we might actually be porting here. Hit the non-painful black source. Land, go. Has to port your port? Yep, okay. So both of us hitting a stretch of lands here to make that Tectonic Break not matter too much. 3 mana for a pillage. Just gonna hit the port, makes sense. And surprisingly, Peter not drawing anything that he can cast for 3 mana. Alright, we're gonna fetch here. Are we gonna see a goblin? Grab a mountain. Oh, goblin sharpshooter. Alright. There's a dust bowl. That is pretty interesting. But I'm just gonna pass and port. There's a Fanatic. Say go. Again, we know he has the Siege Gang Commander. So I have to Terminate. Alright, we're going to get some damage in with the Sharpshooter. And surprisingly, the Sharpshooter not tapping down to deal another point damage. I don't know why I'm leaving the Terminate. There's another Goblin Lackey. This is not looking good. There's a Magnivore. Okay. We do get to see the Magnivore come out. How big is it? I don't think Peter has any sorceries. And I think I have 10 or 12. 12. Okay. Swinging for 12. Now, there's definitely something to be said for leaving it up as a blocker so he can't get the siege gang and then just kill me. But that's not what we're doing. We're risking it. Notably, I do not play lightning bolts in this deck. Maybe I should. All right, then I'm going to sacrifice it to hit the siege gang. Okay, we had a plan. Although there is a ringleader. That's pretty bad. We're going to cast the ringleader. Oh, there's another siege gang and a matron. Those are some good hits.
Hits our siege gang and matron. It seems good. Coming for
And swinging in, taking 3,
Take 3, go 3.
down to 3. Dead next turn. There's a siege gang and a whole boatload of goblins, and I need a board wipe now. And even then, I think I'm still dead with the sharpshooter, potentially. Peter's showing me his rock, paper, scissors, unstable cards. Whatever the unset that is. That's a land, and that's going to be the end of game number 1. Okay, well that's a little rough. Obviously, goblins flooding the board. They're getting the win. I don't have too much in the way of sideboarding. I think engineered plagues obviously come in. Dresses go out. Although dress now can hit more naturalizes, so it's not awful. Maybe I take the Cabal therapies out. I'm actually not sure how I sideboard. This was at least a month ago, maybe 2, that we recorded these games. Again, at experience point. Again, if you're in the Portland area, check them out. Great prices on stuff. I picked up some cards that have been on my list for a while for a great price. Even better than TCG player. Low, actually. Alright. I believe, yeah, we cut out a mulligan here. I'm going to 6. Play a tap land, say go. Mountain double crypt. I hear you care about the graveyard.
Land for turn, go.
Urborg Volcano again. Pass. Let's go 2 for a pile driver. Draw for turn.
Nope, that's
Oh, that's not the card I meant to play. That's Rancid Earth, which might come into play later, but there's an Innocent Blood. Sack the pile driver. Alright, we're gonna fetch here. Paying 3. Is it a... Yeah. War Chief. Take 2.
oh, actually, sorry. 5 red.
Or not. Nope, we're gonna terminate it. Makes sense. That's a scary card. Making goblins cheaper is never
Yes, it is.
something you want to see.
It's in there.
it's really
Untap.
It's not a sorcery.
kills terrible. Kills terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you want your goblins to be cheaper as a goblin player, but opponent not so much.
The one that I accidentally played.
All right, Rancid Earth here,
Hit Rashad.
hitting the port.
anything that messes up your mana seems to be pretty bad. Pretty rough.
Trying to keep the land destruction plan on path,
Perclusive skirt.
but Peter is hitting his land drops, and there's also a Skirk Prospector to potentially get a bit more mana depending on the goblins he has in hand. Land for turn.
Let's go ahead and stone rain the Carpus.
And we'll Stone Rain that too.
Yeah.
Say go. Hitting the green source in game 2 makes a whole lot more sense. There's another Rashad port.
Prospector himself, ringleader.
Makes sense.
And there's a ringleader, Skirk Prospector, sacking to himself. 2 lackeys and another ringleader. That's a very good hit. Swinging in for 2. Down to 18. Do I have anything I want to do? Doesn't look like it. Land
Let's pillage.
and a pillage.
Almost want to
And I think I want to take out a mountain, right? So he can't play both lackeys this turn.
I'm just gonna port again.
No, I'm taking out the port. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm really hoping I hit a
It's true. It's true.
board wipe now. All right, taking 2. Lackey makes sense.
So we're counting on drawing a pyroclasm at this point.
Oh my god, off the top. Pyroclasm, you love to see it. Well, I love to see it. I'm sure Peter did not. That is a very good top deck, and what was going to be a very problematic game is suddenly a little more attainable if we can find something other than lands. Okay. Tapping 3. There's a matron. What are we finding? Granted, I don't know how I'm winning this game currently because of the 2 Tormod's Crypts. My creatures will die. I'm going to fetch here. Alright, looks like he's getting a War Chief. But yes, my Magnivores, which are the main win cons of the deck, will not be able to get through 2 Crypts, more than likely. I think I'm fetching at this point just because I want to stop drawing lands. I know deck thinning really doesn't make that big a deal, but every little bit helps, right? It's like 2% that it matters, and if it actually matters versus the life you lose is debatable. At least that's according to Hall of Famer and Dr. Frank Karsten. All right, Burning Wish. The plan worked. We are finding something. What are we finding? Do I get a board wipe here? I do have to reveal it, which makes it a little less good. Oh, there's a tectonic break. Okay. We are actually now in the position where this is very good for us. Gonna tectonic break for 3. Gonna sack those 3. And now all those lands I've been drawing actually were good. I now have enough mana to play out a Magnivore if I find one. However, my opponent is the only one with the creature on the board. Alright, there's an E-Plague on Goblins. That's pretty good. I almost think this deck should probably have one more threat.
I don't have a
Way to win, and I have 2 of these.
I have pillages.
There's City Brass. Say go.
So being able to do it in response to the pillage.
Yeah. Pass it on.
Another City Brass.
Go.
Say go.
Be a lot of
Is that another E-Plague? It is. Alright, 2 Engineered Plagues. Say go.
So much Drago magic.
Land and go. We get a bunch of land pass here. Alright, you know what my win con is now? We're tapping down the City of Brass. This is the win con. We're shot importing cities. We got 19 turns of it, but it could happen. Pillage.
Crypt you, the one you target.
Okay, so this kind of makes sense. Pillage forcing him to hit one of the crypts. I forgot I actually had Maydeck Pillages, so I can force him to sack the Tormod's Crypts if I can draw one of my other 3 remaining Pillages. Alright, still porting the city, making sure to leave up mana, do that every turn. Oh, there's another Pillage. Alright, so we are potentially back in this,
pass to you.
assuming there's no more graveyard hate.
Naturalize one of them.
Oh, there's a Naturalize for the E-Plague. I'm now going to port the city again. So now we don't have a full wipe on the Goblins. He can play out stuff like Goblin War Chief, which does survive and can hit me for 1. Alright, untap. There's 2 Rashad imports now. I'm going to terminate War Chief and then double port the cities. Okay, so this is a little more sustainable. Now I am shocking Peter each turn. Oh, and there goes the other E-Plague. Now all those little gobos that were in his hand can come out to play. And alright, I'm going to fetch here. Worked so well last time, getting that Burning Wish. We'll see if we can do it again. And yes, on I'm gonna pass, and then on upkeep, deal 2.
Turns out that is a legitimate
This is a very close race, actually.
for 2.
But one I think Peter can still win,
I'm losing right now.
Matron.
especially if he plays out more creatures, which is what his deck does.
Get another war chief.
All right, grabbing another war chief
And then I will pass.
and pass the turn. Can I draw another board wipe here?
One way around being able to sack the Mog Fanatic.
Innocent Blood. Probably just gonna sack the matron. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's there to be sacrificed.
Right.
And say go on your upkeep. Hit the cities. There's a land. And a ringleader. Pile driver. That's very good. Tranquility going to the bottom. If I could hit another... Ooh, I probably should have saved it for the pile driver, but it is some damage. Alright, drawing a lot of lands. Just checking if I have anything with flashback. Chainer's Edict is 7 mana, so I could cast it, but we haven't seen one yet. I think there's only one in the main, maybe 2.
Yep. Lethal.
And that is lethal. And that is going to be game number 2 going to Peter. All right. Congrats again to Peter for winning. Goblins is a heck of a deck. I'll tell you what. If you guys made it this far in the video, thank you again for watching. Make sure to like it so it gets shared out to more people, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel even more, there's a Patreon link in the video description below. That money goes towards gear upgrades, travel expenses, and making more Premodern videos. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.